Hey folks, today's video, I actually wanted to finally redesign some makeup brand logos. I was super excited about doing this. I grabbed 3 different brands that I talked about in a video recently where I mentioned that they could really use a redesign. And if you haven't watched that video, link will be up in a card, so you could check that out. That would be awesome. But in that video, I mentioned that I kind of wanted to actually just take some of the logos, take some of the branding, and just completely revamp it because A, I just thought it looked ugly, B, it was just really old-fashioned and it didn't really match the aesthetic of the brand, and C, I just wanted to get creative. So I grabbed 3 very different ones: Physicians Formula, Too Faced, and NYX. And I dislike all 3 of them for different reasons. Physicians Formula I just thought was super boring. It didn't really have any sort of inspiration behind it, and the packaging of everything doesn't really match the actual logo either. I felt like that there was a lot of just disparate kind of designs involved, and I wanted to take the logo up a notch a little bit, and then I messed with Too Faced to make it the same kind of vibes, but just more updated, because the one that they had seemed really lazy. Like I think I found the font that they actually used for Too Faced, and it just felt really old-fashioned and like it needed a good update. So I did that, and then with NYX, I completely changed it up because I really hated the NYX logo, to be honest. I hated it. I hated the font they used. I thought it was really childish. I thought it was really cheap looking. I thought it didn't help with the actual like cheapness, the way that everything looked, because NYX, I think one of their biggest problems sometimes is just how cheap the packaging can look. And usually the products can be pretty good, but a lot of times the packaging just ends up looking really uninspired and really just like cheaply made. So I wanted to change it up completely. So with Physicians Formula, the first one that I did, I completely changed the font. But when I had mentioned in that video, I wanted to kind of lean more into the like physician aspect of it, because they seemed to be at odds with each other, that they were doing stuff that was really cutesy, but then also with the name Physicians Formula, I thought was really weird. So I leaned more into the physicians part, and I took some inspiration from like the prescription logo where it's the RX, where the R and the X are combined, and I actually combined the P and the F. So I made the P kind of go into the F so that they're connected, and so that way if they wanted to do like a square logo, they could just take the P and the F and it would work just fine. And the font I actually used for this one was, what was it? Ambrose Standard. I don't think this was a Adobe font specifically, but Ambrose Standard is one that I've actually used for other things before, and I think it's really pretty. I think it's really clean. And I wanted to go with a serif font because it looks really crisp. It looks really professional. It looks really, I don't know, like it looks like something that a physician would print out. Like it looks like something that you would get from the doctor. Like it looks like something you would get from the dermatologist. And I wanted to really lean into that. And I made the P and the F a bit larger so that they could combine with each other. They could kind of like, the P and the F could be connected. And then with the with the Physicians Formula, one thing that annoys the hell out of me with pretty much any brand is when something is clearly a possessive S and they leave out the apostrophe. Keep the apostrophe, because otherwise it just looks like the formula of many physicians. Physicians. How many physicians? Formula. This is physicians, like a physicians, a possessive S. So I put the apostrophe back because I thought it was really stupid that it didn't have an apostrophe. And I was like, I am going to put this apostrophe back because I hate it otherwise. I did do a couple different versions where the background was like a dark gray and then the background was white. With the white background, I put like a subtle shadow on the black lettering just to kind of make it pop a little bit better. But I did test one to where it looked like I spread out the kerning and the leading of the word formula, but it felt a little wonky. It still looked a little bit weird, and that's actually what they did, and I think that was another reason why I didn't like the logo itself, is because they had physician, the letters were all a little bit closer together, and then formula, the letters were stretched out more, and it just didn't quite look right. So I left it to where they had the exact same spacing in between each letter, and the actual like width of the letters was the same for both physician and formula. And I kind of like this. I think it's pretty. I think it's clean. I definitely think it leans in the more clinical aspect. And it's still easily legible. Like logos, I think it's really important to have something that fits a brand aesthetic, but is also really easy to read. And with this one, it was pretty easy for me to kind of find something that worked because I just like flipped through fonts and it was pretty simple. But I really liked this one, and please don't take my ideas, brands. But if you are, pay me for it, please. Thank you. Next, Too Faced was really hard, actually. This one was really difficult for me to mess with because I toyed with the idea of having the number 2 in it, but then that would just be kind of weird. And I went through a bunch of fonts. Like I spent a decent amount of time scrolling through fonts for this one. I found the cosmetics font very easily. That one's Dunbar Low, I believe. And that's actually, I really like that font. I think it's really clean. It's really crisp. With something like this, where you have a more kind of scripty font, having something that is a sans serif, a very basic, very kind of like Arial-esque font where there's not a lot of bells and whistles as an auxiliary font, as something to go with it, I think really works. Something where it's like a really bold, kind of stylized font for the main word, and then for like the subheading to have something really thin and really clean. They had that before, so I didn't change a whole lot as far as like the vibe of the logo, but the font is different. It's a different kind of Too Faced. Before it was a more kind of like Regency scripty one. This one's a little more like hand done. I did adjust some of the actual letters themselves. I went into Photoshop and like manually move some stuff around so that I could connect the second O to the F. It's still bugging me a little bit to where it might look like it says top faced, but I think it still works. But I liked this font. I feel like it was a script font without looking too dated. And then because I still like the idea of having like a subtle nod to the number 2, because it's Too Faced, like the word is TOO, but it's a play on TWO, like a two-faced person. So instead of putting the 2, like having just the number 2 faced, I made the letter T on here look like a 2. So the T before didn't have that kind of extra loop around into the O. So I added that to where it looks like a 2. And so that way it has just like a subtle kind of pun, but not so in your face. And I feel like it also just changed up a little bit of what that stock font was, which was, let's see, what font was that? Vladimir Script. Vladimir Script was Too Faced in this. And then, like I said, Dunbar Low was the cosmetics. And I think this one works pretty well. I like it. I think there were 2 different versions I did where there was like Too Faced as all like one line and then the Too Faced. So I like both of them. I feel like they could both be used in different scenarios depending on what kind of design it needs. This would obviously work better in like a square situation. And I think it works better than having like Too Faced. So having like Too Faced, I'm a sucker for things that are like slightly off to where it's not just right on top of each other, to where it's just like a little bit, like a little bit on top of each other, but not like right on top of each other, you know? I think this would be pretty. I think this would still fit the vibe of everything without being so different and without being like so out of left field for the brand. So I like it. I think it's pretty. And this is also something that could be used in many different colors, like pink, blue, white on black, like any of that could work. So I like it. Now, this was one I was actually really proud of, and this was something that I was kind of thinking of when I was making that video talking about NYX, because what they could do, like the whole idea and the whole kind of brand aesthetic of NYX, at least for the longest time, was they just had a lot of things and it was all really inexpensive. And they obviously have like, things have changed a bit over the years and they haven't really updated that much as far as anything really, as far as the packaging goes, and I feel like they probably could. And with this one, rather than taking it to a more clean and crisp font, I feel like the word NYX and the, I don't know, the playfulness of it really lends itself to something that's like a swooshy, hand painted type thing. And then also with the freaking little heart underneath was just so weird. It was just like NYX and then a teeny tiny heart. Professional makeup. I had it originally as NYX Cosmetics, but then when I looked at the original logo, it said NYX Professional Makeup. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put professional makeup there. That works. But I hand drew this heart in Photoshop. I don't have a tablet, so it's not quite as clean as I probably would like it to be if I had a tablet. But I freehanded it with a mouse. And I feel like this is fun. It has the same elements that the original logo has with a completely different vibe. And I don't know. I feel like because it's just really, it's like bam in your face, but also minimalist. Like just the word NYX could be by itself, or you could have NYX with the heart, or all three of them put together. You could have NYX with the heart underneath. Like if you wanted a square logo, this would work really well with any colors with the white on black. I think that this is something that, I don't know, it would jump out. It would be a definite change. Like NYX, I feel like either has to go in the realm of like having it be like super clean, like in terms of like, I don't know, something like Viseart or like Makeup Forever, super clean, or complete opposite direction, something like this, or like, I don't know, Melt is another one that has kind of like a really stylized font, which I actually really like Melt's logo and branding. But I like this. This is the Flood font. I really love this font. I use it so much. I don't know. I like it. It's, again, easy to read. I was thinking of something, I was trying out some things that were like Old English type fonts, but the Y was really difficult to make out. Like the N and the X were easy to kind of distinguish, but the Y was really hard to actually see that it was the letter Y. So the Y would have to just look different. So this still looks like it says NYX. Like it's nothing... Like it's easy to read, but it's still like NYX. Like before it was just like NYX. Okay, like I don't know. Like this has energy, and the other one just had like, I don't know, Claire's energy. I just really hated the old NYX logo. It was so bad. I hated it so much. Ugh, not a good time. Not a good logo. And granted, I'm not going to say that any of these are like perfect. Like everybody has their own opinion on things, but I really liked the logos I came up with, and it was fun actually coming up with these and like playing around with styles and thinking about the makeup that I've had and the makeup that they currently produce and like things that could actually work on stuff. Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun coming up with this stuff and get your like creative juices flowing. So I will do this again. So definitely let me know if there are any other brands that I mentioned in that video that you would like me to talk about, because I want to do this again. That was real fun. It was super fun. But yeah, I don't know. Tag the brands in this if you want to. I don't fucking know. For today's song of the day, let's see. What have I been listening to? Ooh, actually, I'm gonna do another Bad Optics song because it's so good. Okay, I did Isopropyl Sunrise. Okay, I'm gonna have Every Body Is a Mirror from Bad Optics be your song of the day because I have been listening to that record nonstop since I started listening to it last week. Like, it's probably in the mail. Actually, I should probably go check my mail. I might have something in the mailbox from today. I have no idea. But yeah, Everybody Is a Mirror, right? Everybody Is a Mirror from Bad Optics is your song of the day. Thanks for watching, everyone. Apologies for last week's just kind of general not being here as much, but I've had a lot of work stuff that's been going on and I've just had very little time to do much of this, and thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it. If you would like to see more of me, please subscribe. That'd be super cool. And then if you want to follow me anywhere else on social media, my Instagram and my Twitter are both Abers07, and then my Twitch is just Abers without the 07 because I didn't feel like keeping the 07 because I got it when I was in high school. So, you know. Next video should be my anti-haul, so let me know if there's any products that you've seen come out recently. I have had people tag me in some things on Instagram, but if there's definitely things that you've seen, let me know in the comments because I sometimes lose track of what people have tagged me on Instagram because I just don't check it that often anymore. Definitely not in the last 2 weeks with how much stuff has been going on with work. But either way, I hope you're having a good day. It's Monday. I hope you're having a good week so far. Go get hydrated, drink some water. Hope you're getting enough sleep, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.